Good morning, Malik. Good morning, Enimwa.
Good morning.
And how are we doing this morning?
Good.
Excited.
Yeah.
Why are you excited?
I am excited because now you have become excited. A while ago you were.
And I was waking up.
You know, when you asked Malik the question, I thought you say I'm excited.
Oh.
Okay, you guys didn't get it. Ouch. Oh, the mornings when you think you're so funny. Anyway. But guys, back to school is happening this weekend.
Yes, which is why I'm excited. The greater excitement is the fact that the children have gone back to school.
Yeah.
And I'm sure parents can relate.
Why do I have a feeling that you will oppose double tracking?
So much love in the atmosphere.
We love our children, but when they're back in school, it's amazing.
Freedom, huh?
Yes. Oh yeah. And then obviously the back to school fair, this weekend, which allows us to buy everything that we need for our children in one place.
Yes, so it's starting on Friday at the Providence Center.
Yep.
From Friday through Sunday. Whatever you need to get your kids for them to go to school.
8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yeah, at any level, whether they are now starting school or they've been there for years and they need refills. Charlie, just head over to the Providence.
Did you say if they need refills? Because they always need refills. It's a bottomless pit of things that children need.
You know, it takes about $140,000 to take care of your child from birth to university.
Oh.
Yeah.
In Ghana or elsewhere?
Okay, so this person was speaking in Zimbabwe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, but still, I mean...
It makes sense, though, if you think about all the costs. And in Ghana cities, that will be about times 5. So 450.
140 times 5?
15. I'm thinking 15 times 5.
Right, okay.
450.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's not 450.
No, 50. Because 15 times 4 is 60. Hey, Charlie, 750.
What school did you go to again?
Let's start with it.
He will run away from that one. He will run away from that one.
Let's start with Gold Street business.
Yeah, let's do the Gold Street business. UAE seeks new investment prospects in Ghana as Dubai's bilateral trade with Ghana dips to $1.2 billion in 2017 from $2.1 billion in 2016. Of course, increase in gold export kept the amount from further decline last year. Ghana has an investment target of 2.8 billion in specific ventures. Also on the front page of the Gold Street business, GRA to go paperless by end of 2018 and 6-pillar strategy to drive public sector reform. Senior Minister Yawasafo Mafu.
On the front page of the Today, over 60,000 students fate in limbo as they can't be placed under the CSSPS. World Bank angry at Ghana, and MCE calls for support. And there's a picture of the Wejat Bawe MC kneeling down as Prophet Computer Man prays for him so that he wins.
I like the name though, Prophet Computer Man.
Computer Man.
Yeah.
He's a prophet.
Yeah.
How do you mix those two?
The prophet. I guess they're saying that his mind is like a computer, or his prophetic gift is like a computer. So I think.
Yeah.
I am not his PR, his market. I do not know him.
I love the way you're dissociating yourself. Malik.
The Daily Statesman newspaper, Ghana emulating China's development model as a precedent. Over 400,000 get placement for free SHS. Vote out Asedin Ketia, that's Alote Jacobs urging NDC delegates.
And on the front page of the Daily Guide, we'll copy China success story. That's according to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, our president. NDC outdoors Dragons, Lions and Hawks militia for 2020 polls. Asiedu in Ketia must go. That's according to Alote Jacobs and the story we brought you yesterday. Bagre Dam floods home.
The Herald newspaper, National Service bosses blow $12 million Ghana cedis on luxurious cars and others. Hungry workers cry over neglect. IMF confused about government contract with Sino Hydro holding crunch meetings soon. And Gabi sues Herald for Akufo-Addo.
On the front page of the Chronicle, a story that we'll be doing in a little bit. 200,000 Ghana cedis stolen from the Consolidated Bank vault. Ghana to replicate China's development model. Customs aiding MPS to divert GPHA cash. That's according to Deputy Minister for Transport, Daniel Titus Glover.
The New Crusading Guide newspaper, planting for food and jobs, saboteurs under fire. That's the president. The president is upset and angry and serious about this one. I'm not crippled. Ignore my detractors. That's Osofo Chiri Obosum speaking. And Mahama Bagbin were right Tema Manche.
On the front page of the Ghanaian Observer, IMF slaps NDC over 2 billion Sino-Hydro deal. Ghana aiming to replicate China's story. Alote Jacobs wants Asiedun Ketia out. Education Minister Lord's National Service Scheme. And NDC elders kick against Mohammed's second
The
coming.
Daily Graphic newspaper. The 490,000 going to school is also on the front page of the Daily Graphic. A Greek ministry secures $216 million loan for planting for food and jobs. And yes, those are the main stories on the front page of the Daily Graphic. Back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Robberies increase in 2017. Police gave assurance of effective remedial measures. And University of East London Science MOU with Ghana as varsity confers honorary doctorate on Asante Hene.
And finally, from me in the Ghanaian Times, free SHS placement out as double track system takes off. So the green track starts September 10th. The gold track begins November 8th. Government to enact law against fiscal indiscipline. That's according to Senior Minister Yao Osafo-Maafo.
The Finder newspaper, and this is my last paper. Demurrage declines by 21% in 6 months. Shippers Authority is the one saying this, and provide workable recommendations to government on government policies. That's Senior Minister Osafo-Maafo.
Right. Thank you. Enima, let's begin with the SHS placement.
Okay, so we know that 521,710 students registered and wrote the BEC. So out of that, 490,514 are going to SHS. Now, 423,134 have been automatically placed in schools, and 67,362 could not be matched. Now, the unplaced students are supposed to do a self-placement. So because the schools that have vacancies have been loaded onto the portal. So what you're supposed to do is go onto that portal. Well, you buy the access code for 5 CDs, go onto the portal, and then you pick a school that is available. So there's a list of schools that are available. There are also regional solution centers that have been set up at all regional education offices. Now, if you need any help with that, you can call 0800 900 101 or 026 737 2258. Dial star 713 star 24 hash so that you can access the portal if you're any of the students who has not been placed. Now, what's interesting is that this use of the portal is actually generating a lot of money, and that has kind of sparked a conversation on social media, because if all the candidates access this placement portal, it's going to raise 2,452,570 Ghana cedis.
Yesterday I saw a post on Facebook, and someone was complaining that she has to buy a scratch card for 5 Ghana cedis, and she says GES and thievery.
Yes, so I mean it's a lot of money, over 2.5 million.
But they need
Ghana
revenue
cedis.
as well.
Which may be an innovative way anyway.
Yes,
So
Yes.
And according to this release, just so that we know, there's 2 tracks that are going. There's the green track and the gold track. The green track reopens school on September the 11th, and the gold track will begin on November the 8th, 2018.
Yeah, so I've been getting some questions about this placement system. I just got one since GES released the TSSPS letter. I've been trying to buy the tracker card to look for my ward school placement, but I'm told that service is not ready yet. Someone else has asked me, how possible is it for a BC candidate to score aggregate 11 and be posted to the 4th choice school? So maybe we should talk to the GES this morning.
Yes.
And try and get some answers on this. So, you know what? If you're listening to us, you have a question about any question at all about the placements, your wards placements, any help that you need, send in your question for the GES to 0244 340 437. 0244 340 437. Send us your question. We'll ask the GES. You can also tweet at us as Joy997FM. Our Facebook page is Joy 99.7 FM. Malik, let's do politics.
Yes, so let's do politics. And this one, I would not have predicted that this will happen. So Alote Jacobs, who is the Central Regional Chairman, or outgone Central Regional Chairman, or immediate past Central Regional Chairman of the NDC, is advocating that delegates of the party should vote out General Secretary Johnson Asiedun Ketia, alias General Mosquito, and vote Koko Anyudo, who is his deputy. Koko Anyudo, who is challenging Asiedun Ketia for the chief scribe of the NDC. And Alote Jacobs is saying that he thinks that people like Asedin Ketia have constituted themselves into a mafia within the NDC, and they led the NDC's failed attempt to secure a third straight victory in the last election, and therefore he should be voted out. Except that the same argument he's making can be made for him. He didn't run for re-election for the Central Regional Chairmanship, but he also saw a trouncing of the NDC in the Central Region. They had about 16 seats going into the 2016 election. They won only 4. They lost 12 in that election. So what he says about the Asedin Ketia goes for him as well. But his view is that the party must change the leadership of at the national level. And Asedin Ketia, of course, we know Asedin Ketia became General Secretary in 2005 after a Koforidua Congress, and he's dominated the NDC politics. He's about one of the most political savvy persons in this town. And he's also one person who can cross borders. He can cross over to the opposition, and he's very crafty and witty. He's great in his politics. So it remains to be seen whether it's a tall order for Kokwa.
But then again, he's been there for 13 years.
Yes,
so that alone says something.
And I can tell that
if he wins this one, that would take him to his 17th
nobody would have dared. Nobody playing a key role in the NDC would have dared to stand up and say vote against Asedin Ketia. So it's quite curious that Aleti.
But the thing that stands out for me with him is his fashion sense.
Okay, that's one that's worked. Anymore, let me come to you. Professor Yanka is telling Mr. Mahama to eat.
Yes, I mean, obviously people are telling people not to stand for things. And yes, Professor...
Or if they stand, they should be voted against.
Well, yes, Education's a former member of parliament, Mr. Kojo Anka, has told ex-president John Mahama that he doesn't think it's a good idea that he runs again. So he said this on his Facebook page. Remember that Professor Yanka is also the founder and president of the African University College of Communication. He was a Minister of State, in the Rawlings administration. Now, this is what he said to ex-president Mahama. He said, "My humble request," and I'm quoting, "is for you to give a second thought to your decision." He also said that he admires President Mahama, and he has for a very long time. He says, "You're a very affable, intelligent, and courteous person. Your humility and sense of service contributed to your rise to leadership at various levels." He further went on to say, "You lost an election and you accepted the results and thanked God accordingly. To the best of my knowledge, you performed to the best of your ability." He then puts it to Mr. Mahama, says, "My humble request is for you to give a second thought to your decision. If I am too late in coming on, or if you've heard my reasoning before, I wish you well." It sounds like a really beautifully written breakup letter.
And he received a lot of trouncing on social media.
I mean, but some people are in support of his views as well. I mean, it is pretty divided, the feelings about whether ex-president John Mahama should.
Whenever it comes to anyone running for president, it's a sensitive issue.
Yeah, but it's quite extreme.
Because he's a huge figure.
Yeah, so it's either that, people are really... I rarely find that there's anybody who's kind of in the middle about it.
Maybe those of us who are in the middle here in the studio. Yeah. So Mr. Mahama appointed Seydou Dana, and Mr. Bagbin said he was wrong, but someone is saying both of them are right.
Yes, the Tema Manche is saying that, look, both of them were right. And the reason he's saying this is that he thinks that Bagbin was right when he said President Mahama's reasoning or calculation politically in choosing Seydou Dana, a visually impaired person, as chieftaincy minister was wrong. The Tema Mancha is saying that Bagbin was right because the tradition remains that chiefs should not associate themselves with persons with disability. Now, having said that, you would have thought that he's choosing a side. Then he says, well, but the former president was also right in choosing Seydou Dana. The former president act of selecting a visually impaired person to become chieftaincy minister was a way of challenging the age-old traditions of chiefs not associating with persons who are physically challenged, and therefore he thinks that both the former president and Alban Bagbin were right. And of course, you know that Alban Bagbin received a lot of trouncing on social media for this, and even in mainstream media, and he had to hold a press conference at which he argued that what he said was not intended to undermine any person, but was just drawing attention to defective reasoning and thinking in the former president's choices for certain ministerial portfolios.
It's interesting to note that the Tema Manche's argument, as well as the persons with disabilities have been saying, that Mr. Bagbin should have been taking the route of educating people who may feel like they are not culturally permitted to associate with such
Absolutely.
people. Yeah, but let's move from, politics and move into banking.
Thievery?
Well,
A
thievery.
move from politics?
Oh, come on, anyone. That's unfair.
This morning.
Okay, fine, I take it back. So two very smart men have been charged for stealing 200,000 CDs from Consolidated Bank.
Oh.
So these two guys had a meeting and they decided that, okay, the way things are going, we have to organize our own severance package.
Because you can't rely on the
You
system
cannot.
to
No.
provide you with any.
So their names are Bobich, Kwamena Yeboah, and Prince Ababiu. So Bobich was a bullion teller with Beige Capital, and Prince was a cash boy. So at this meeting, Prince told his friend that he's doing a car business on the side. So even if they are sacked from this job, he'll be fine because he has a car business. I don't understand why, if you have a car business, you are a cash boy. In the first place, I don't know how that works, but he has a car business. So he said to Bobik, okay, bring 200,000 CDs so that I'll hook you up and then we'll buy cars from Togo and then you sell them. Bobik didn't have the money, so he decided that, okay, since he's the one who goes to collect the money from the vault, he'll inflate the amounts that is needed. So if the requirement is 300,000, he'll make it 400,000. So he did that and took 100,000 CDs extra from the vault. The thing is that he's also the one who counts the money in the vault. So he was able to get away with it by just, if he took 400,000, he just said he took 300,000 and left it there. His luck ran out when, for some reason, his supervisor decided that she was going to count the money again. And by that time, he had done it twice. So it was minus 200,000. Yes, it was minus 200,000 CDs. So they found out that this money was missing, and he said that yes, he did take the money. So the plan was to give the money to a Daniel Chenimo, aka Chairman, who was going to buy cars from Togo from them to sell, and they have been charged with conspiracy to steal and stealing and have been remanded in custody.
How did he manage to carry that bulk amount out of the bank?
I mean, it was 50 CD notes.
No.
You remember the Anas? Remember the Anas video? The guy with the very big pockets.
Because
the political suit that had
the political suit that had
about 15 pockets.
Thank you. Yeah. So if 50 CD knows 100,000, you just chuck it in some corners.
So Malik, my answer to you would be that is all he needs to think about. Because he knows how he's going to take the money out of the vault. So all he needs to think about is how to carry it out of the bank.
No, he took it
he
together with whatever he was taking and then took it into the bullion van and then drove off.
So that's where the bullion driver comes in.
Yeah, he is the bullion. He's the bullion person, and then Prince is the cash teller. So they worked together. Take the money, hand it over, and then that's it. So if the supervisor had not checked, because on paper the figures were as it should have been. So if they hadn't checked, they would have gotten away with it.
But with time, you still would have been found out.
By that time, he would have been a millionaire in Togo.
Anyway,
the Consolidated Bank, they don't have much money, and we have to borrow money to set up Consolidated Bank. And you're going to steal the small money that they have. Anyway. Yeah, but this is from Consolidated Bank.
But specifically Beige.
Let's move online now, guys. And the online news review is brought to you by Zenith Bank. In your best interest, Goyle Good Energy. Download the Safe Doctor app now from Google Play. Safe Doctor, the future of better medical care. Now, you've got great love for your vehicle. You want the engine to last longer and perform to its maximum. It's okay. Goyle has the new Super Synthetic 5W30 and 5W20 lubricants for you. These specially engineered superior engine oils work efficiently on all modern petrol and diesel engines. They clean, protect, reduce fuel consumption, prolong oil change intervals, and enhance engine performance from startup till you switch off. Go to any Goyle filling station and grab the new Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Engineering innovation for your vehicle has arrived. Goyle Good Energy. Did you know that paying school fees can be easy as ABC? And did you know that Zenith Bank provides the most reliable school fees payment service? Well, now you know. Visit any of our business locations nationwide for easy and prompt school fees payment, or visit our website zenithbank.com.gh to pay school fees via Zenith Global Pay. If you are a Zenith Bank customer, that is. Now, Zenith School Fees Payments is your stress-free solution to paying school fees. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. MyJoyOnline.com says economist cautions government over $50 billion century bond. This Professor William Boateng, the new head of the economics department of the University of Ghana. Parliament won't probe directors of collapsed banks, Finance Committee chair. Now, Parliament's Finance Committee on Wednesday will begin its probe into the collapse of 7 banks in the country, but Dr. Marcus Ibeyeboa, the chair of the committee, says they have agreed not to invite the directors of the closed banks. So who is going to be invited? Representatives of the Central Bank, Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited, KPMG, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and the Finance Ministry. They are going to appear. Let me read it, because he says, we have made it clear from the onset that we are inviting the institutions to have an in-camera hearing to garner first-hand information from them. I wonder how we are getting first-hand information when the persons who were running the bank at the time are not being...
all the amounts and all of that.
Yeah, the people who the allegations are being made against. Already, directors of Unibank, former directors of Unibank, have complained that their views were not sought when KPMG was doing their probe. And so I was thinking that, anyway, I think it will be interesting to deal a bit more with this issue since the probe is starting today, so that we can fully understand it. But on the banking rot, Occupy Ghana objects to in-camera hearing, petitions speaker. AdomOnline.com says NDC to adopt Jehovah's Witness concept for election 2020. And the person speaking is a Church of Pentecost elder, Samuel Ofosu Ampofo. Good morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So religious techniques are not strange to him.
As aspirant for national chairman.
Yeah, he's an aspirant for national chairman. So we are going to take these few messages, and then we'll be back with the BBC News at 7. But remember, if you have any questions for the GES concerning the new school placement system, the double track, whatever it is, send them in on 0244 340 437. You are trying to check your wards placement. You have any problems with it, just send in your message. We'll ask for you. And we'll also be looking at this parliamentary probe that is coming up today. Why are they interviewing the people that they're interviewing? Are we sure, are we confident that we'll get to the bottom of the matter with this process? Would be looking at that as well. And of course, a blowback from this banking saga in the first place. So many jobs being lost. One of the issues that we are going to talk about. It's important for us to make sure that our economy is creating jobs. Stay with us. This is the Super Morning Show.
This was Kwame's life before Interplast In Green Irrigation System.